What's up, guys? Chris here to do some predictions for the Ultimate Fighter 13 finale going down this Saturday night. Gonna start off on some of the undercard real quick. This may be one of the first times I've done a predictions video for these Ultimate Fighter finales. I don't recall if I usually do because normally I'm not too intrigued by the matchup itself between the participants. But this one I am a little bit, which I'll get to in a second. Real quick on the undercard, got Ed Herman taking on Tim Credor. Both guys have been out since 2009. Ed Herman is a guy that actually thought he deserved to win the decision against Kendall Grove in the finale of his season, The Ultimate Fighter, but he didn't. Kind of had an up and down career since then. Been had a lot of injuries, a lot of just missed ring time. But in this fight, I actually favor him. I want to say he's a more durable fighter, but considering all the time he's missed because of injuries, I guess that's not really the case. But if both guys come in, let's just say all things even, I just think Ed Herman stylistically should win this fight because I think he's a more rugged, tougher fighter. Well, I mean, Tim Credor is tough as hell too, but I favor Ed Herman. I think he could put the beat down on Tim Credor. Let's just say that. We'll see how it goes, though. Next up, you got a former Ultimate Fighter winner. I believe he won the last season. Jonathan Brookins was supposed to be taking on Jeremy Stevens here. Fortunately, for Brookins, he got hurt. Now, why do I say fortunately? Because I think him taking on Jeremy Stevens is a terrible matchup for him. You know, normally the Ultimate Fighter, the UFC, likes to match up winners of the Ultimate Fighter favorably for the first few fights. Well, I don't think they were doing that with Brookins here against Stevens. Brookins' stand-up's terrible. His takedowns aren't really all that good. He's got some good ground game, but I think Jeremy Stevens would have just picked him apart on the feet and taken him out. I think he would have knocked him out, in all honesty. So I was surprised when that fight was made. But like I said, Brookins got injured. Now Danny Downs is in there, so now Danny Downs is going to be the unfortunate victim of a little heathen beatdown, in my opinion. No disrespect to Downs, but I believe he lost to Chris Wardesky, even though he took the final last-minute notice. If you lost to Wardesky, you're probably going to lose to Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. You know, full disclosure, I'm a big fan of Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. Always brings it. I think he's going to do the same here. I think he's going to take out Danny Downs early. Check out Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens' YouTube channel as well, man. Love those video vlogs or blogs, whatever that he does, leading up to his fights. Scott Jorgensen, Ken Stone. Jorgensen coming off that surprising one-sided title loss to Dominic Cruz. I thought he'd be more competitive. He wasn't. Cruz shut him down. Ken Stone got KO slammed by Eddie Wineland. Favorite Jorgensen here. Better all-around fighter. Stronger, more physical. Jorgensen by TKO. George Roop, Josh Grishby. Roop coming off the loss to Hominick. First round stoppage. Somewhat debatable. Grishby coming off the loss to Dustin Poirier, where he got dismantled. He was actually supposed to fight Jose Aldo in that fight, but Aldo got hurt. And much like with Jonathan Brookins, it may have been for the best one that he didn't fight Aldo, because if he got picked apart that bad and just beat up that bad by Poirier, I can only imagine what kind of damage Jose Aldo would have done to Josh Grishby. That said, I favor Josh Grishby in this fight. As long as he doesn't, he psychologically isn't too damaged from that loss, I think he should rebound well here. Although Roop has looked well in his most recent fights up until the loss to Hominick, but I still favor Josh Grishby here by decision. Co-main event tonight, Anthony, although it may be the main event, I'm not for sure. Anthony Showtime Pettis taking on Clay Guida. Showtime, of course, coming off that great win with the Showtime kick that's been dubbed, I believe, over Ben Henderson in last December's WEC, the final show where he won the WEC lightweight title. Guida coming off a win over Tekno Gomi, where he submitted Gomi by choke. You know, Pettis, as we all know, was supposed to get the shot at Frankie Edgar or Gray Mayer, the winner, but that fight, of course, went to a draw. Rematch has been delayed, so Pettis is taking this fight. Credit to him for taking the fight, you know, rather than just sitting around waiting for his title shot. But then again, do you really want to do that? I mean, look at the way it's worked out for Sugar Rashad Evans. As for this fight, I favor Pettis. Guida may have an edge in the wrestling, maybe in the conditioning, but that's pretty much it as far as I'm concerned. Maybe in the submissions, but it's not a big part of Guida's game, and I haven't really seen Pettis in any submission trouble. On the feet, Anthony Pettis, much better fighter, much more dynamic striker. More powerful striker as well. You know, Guida's been doing some funky movements like he was doing in the Gomi fight. I don't think that's going to work so well here. Pettis, he starts bobbing his head back and forth like that. Anthony Pettis is going to kick his head off. On the ground, Guida may be able to get Pettis to the ground, but Pettis has showed he's not no fish out of water on the ground. Look at his fight against Aaron Simpson. Or not Aaron Simpson. Not Jake Rochat. Man, what's that cat's name? Shane Roller. He got put on his back there. He was able to hang. You know, not that Roller's some submission whiz, but he's a stout wrestler, better than Guida. As well as when Pettis on his back against Henderson. You know, he can hang there. He's not he's not completely deficient there. So I think he can hang there, or get back to his feet, if not kind of threaten Guida with submission attempts. I don't think he's going to sub Guida, but threaten him, but get this fight back to the feet where it should be in his favor. So Guida's tough. He's done really good on some of these Ultimate Fighter finale shows, like against had some good fights against Huerta and Diego Sanchez, two of the just really exciting fights. I think this will be an exciting fight as well, but I definitely favor Anthony Showtime Pettis to win this fight by decision. On to the main event, or I think it's the main event. The Ultimate Fighter 13, Season 13 finale. Team Lesnar versus Team Dos Santos. You got Ramsey. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I'll say Najim. Representing Team Dos Santos against Tony Ferguson, who's representing Team Lesnar. Normally I'm not too intrigued by these fights, as I mentioned at the top, because, I don't know, I watched the show. I've watched every season of Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I know people are down on the show now, but I still watch it. But normally you kind of have a favorite you think is going to win the show, you just don't really see the bout being as too competitive. But this one I do think will be competitive. I do see a pretty good fight going down here. Ramsey won last night on the show, took out Chris Cope by TKO. Tony Ferguson won by TKO over Chuck O'Neal. Ferguson's kind of getting the rest of the house kind of down on him after he said some, debatable, questionable comments on the show recently about another fighter's son. Ramsey kind of is the guy who's very lighthearted. Seems like he's been a bit of a fan favorite, definitely a favorite around the house. I think both guys are solid, well-rounded fighters. Maybe Ramsey's a little bit better on the ground. I think Ferguson's got more power in his strikes on the feet, and I'm going to favor Ferguson. I think his strikes on the feet can create a little more damage on Ramsey. Ramsey, I didn't think he looked so good in the first round against Chris Cope last night in the fight. I think Ferguson can mark him up there and probably go to a decision this fight either way. But I'm going to favor Tony Ferguson to win it. Although, in all honesty, this is a 50-50 fight. Neither really has a big edge in experience or anything else. No glaring, advantages by either fighter that I've seen. I just think Ferguson hits with a little bit more power in it. It's going to favor him in a decision. So that's it. We talked about this show on last weekend's Science of Violence radio show, or this event, as well as, talk some UFC 130 and some boxing as usual. And of course, we'll be talking about the results on next Sunday's show. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, you can always check it out on Podcast On Demand. I'll put the link in the information for the video as usual, as well as link to my Twitter and link to scienceofviolence.com. So be sure and check those out if you get a chance. And one of you guys' thoughts on these fights, most notably, of course, Anthony Pettis, Clay Guida, who do you favor and why? And if you watch Ultimate Fighter still, thoughts on the finale between Ramsey and Tony Ferguson, who do you favor and why? That's it for now. Till next time, guys, I'm out.